What's going on, guys? Stock Market Scrubby here, back again with another market update. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. Like I said, today we're going to be going over all the news from the stock market. We've got Tesla news, crypto news, Toyota. Oh my goodness. Buckle your seatbelt and get ready for one wild ride, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
I'm getting quiet now. Lay low when you reach zone, pipe down. Making habits take the
Alright, before we get into it, remember this is not financial advice. I'm an idiot talking about stocks over Valorant gameplay. I'm just trying to make it entertaining and keep you guys informed. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, first things first, we're going to be starting with Tesla, which has dipped below the $1 trillion valuation mark. For those of you that don't know, Tesla for a bit was, as a company, valued at a little over $1 trillion. It slipped down below as Elon Musk keeps selling stock. Elon Musk sells more Tesla stock as valuation dips below $1 trillion. He's offloaded $12.7 billion worth of shares in 5 weeks, and he's roughly 70% done with the disposals pledged on Twitter. Obviously, anytime anyone sells $12.7 billion worth of stock and it's a CEO of a company, it's not going to boost investor confidence and it's going to have an effect on the stock price. I don't necessarily think this is like horrible for Tesla. Obviously, they've had a great year. But yeah, I do think, and I'm not hating on Tesla at all, I think Elon's a great CEO. I think they make great products. I do think they maybe are a little bit overvalued right now at these prices, only because currently they're dominating the EV game. And I just think as other auto manufacturers start to get their EV cars out there, it is going to cut into Tesla's market share just because they're the only one right now. It's not that I think the company's bad. It's not that I don't believe in Elon. I just don't necessarily believe that they're in a position to be a $1 trillion company currently as it stands. That's my opinion, though. Other than Elon selling stock, other news we've got going. Cryptocurrency is starting to, maybe take a little bit more leaps and bounds to boost their public notoriety. Cryptocurrency companies take multi-million-dollar step into sports. I noticed that the Staples Center in LA, one of the most famous arenas, maybe it's just because I live on the West Coast, but one of the most famous arenas in the country, in my opinion, is being renamed the Crypto.com Arena. Naming rights for stadiums are obviously huge. There's some other stuff going on right now with crypto companies and naming rights, but overall, it seems like they're trying to establish themselves as like the crypto brand on a household basis. Obviously, in the grand scheme of things, cryptocurrency is very young, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I've never really understood why as a company I'd want to pay like $100 million to name a arena after me, but I'm sure they've done the math and figured out why it would work or whatever. It's definitely been interesting to see crypto go so mainstream. Like, it was always an internet thing. I always kind of knew about it and whatnot, but it's so weird to like hear my parents talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's like, wait a second, when the hell did this happen? So I think them stepping into arena naming rights is going to help boost notoriety and just get people involved in the space. Cryptocurrency platforms and firms have flooded into sports, signing major deals, highlighted by Crypto.com taking over the naming rights to the LA Lakers arena for $700 million. Goddamn. The National Women's Soccer League has signed a multi-year deal with crypto platform Voyager Digital to become the latest league to step into the space, and sports fans are about twice as likely as non-sports fans to say they are familiar with cryptocurrency. I will say it's interesting to know that like if you watch sports, you're twice as likely to be interested in crypto. I'm assuming that has something to do with like gambling or maybe the age of the fans. I'm not necessarily sure, but regardless, yeah, if you have a ability to like acquire customers at double your rate, that's what you're gonna focus on. If I have to pick between naming the ballet, the Bitcoin ballet, and Crypto.com Arena is making way more sense to me. It is nuts that the naming rights for a stadium are $700 million, though. Obviously, it's a famous stadium, the Lakers play there, but goodness gracious, $700 million. Speaking of competition for Tesla, like we were earlier, though, our next story is kind of what I was talking about. Toyota to invest $35 billion into battery-powered EVs and roll out 30 models by the year 2030. Like I said, as it currently stands, there really isn't many companies that like have full-scale production EV models. Obviously, there's some, but every one of these major car manufacturers is starting to be like, oh crap, Tesla's beating us, we need to start getting on the EV game. And Toyota is definitely hard to compete with, because Toyota just has the ability of scale. I watched this one YouTube video one time, so take it with a grain of salt, about how they basically have like one of the most efficient processes for making vehicles that helps them keep their costs low because they reuse so many parts on different vehicles. So if they start to get into the EV game and manage to get costs down because they have so much experience in being able to get costs down, that's obviously going to take a huge chunk out of everyone's EV market. Think about it this way. How many people drive like a Toyota Corolla or a Toyota Camry? Now imagine they come out with the electric version of that. It's going to sell like hotcakes. People love the EV technology, but I can't help but say it is a little bit expensive. What, the cheapest Tesla without self-driving starts at like $35,000? The first time somebody manages to come out with a good electric vehicle for like a little bit more of a reasonable price, it's going to be insane. And it is going to take a cut of Tesla's market. I think Tesla has done a very good job of like narrowing in on that, upper range of customers. There really isn't much to compete with the Model S. There's really not much to compete with the Model X currently. But I think that bottom entry level, market for electric vehicles is really poised for somebody to come in and wreck it. And if anybody's going to be able to, it's Toyota. They're good at this stuff. Keeping on the theme of future technology, but moving over to a different venue of travel, something that I didn't necessarily see coming. I guess there's going to be an increase in planes also using alternative fuel and like alternative ways of powering than just the current jet turbine engines. United Airlines plans to purchase up to 100 hydrogen electric engines. Alright, so obviously, 100 hydrogen electric engines in the grand scheme of things compared to how many engines currently exist in the sky isn't insane, but it is weird to see a step in the right direction. I was always under the impression that like electric engines on planes was going to take forever and be very hard to do. I didn't realize that we were at the point where we have hydrogen electric engines that actually are capable of like powering jets to fly through the air. It's a step in the right direction. Obviously, the technology still isn't incredible yet, but if we're already getting to the point where United Airlines is placing orders for them, it's just a matter of time until the technology continues to improve. Think about first hearing about electric cars back in the year 2012. Obviously, if you got one back then, the technology wasn't necessarily the best. You might have been pretty upset. But the technology's improved incredibly quickly, and now I think we all know that like EVs are just kind of the future at this point. Everybody loves a good muscle car, don't get it wrong, but we're all aware of the fact that EVs are just kind of more practical if you're going to sink the money into a new car right now this second. At least I am, that might have made a lot of you really mad, sorry. And our last story doesn't necessarily have too much to do with business or stock market, anything like that, but it's something that's gonna make everybody cringe and go, oh, that one had to hurt. Alright, so I personally don't necessarily understand the whole NFT game. I don't understand why you would ever spend that much money on a picture online. I get it, you own it, blockchain or whatever. That being said, if you do own it and you make this mistake, you're probably going to want to punch yourself in the face. Bored Ape NFT reportedly sells for $3,000 instead of $300,000 due to fat finger mistake. Oh man, could you imagine this, dude? First of all, you own an NFT that's worth 300 grand. Maybe you invested it in a long time ago, but regardless, clearly, your plan is to flip it, make some bread here. I would be triple, quadruple, no, sextuple, no, eightuple, whatever is after 8, dodecaduple checking to make sure that, I did not sell this for way less than I intended, but my goodness, could you imagine the sinking feeling in his gut when he realized he sold his $300,000 NFT for $3,000? Whoever bought that had to have felt like an absolute G, dude. Like, imagine that. You just happen to go on OpenSea to look at an NFT, maybe for the first time. You're like, whatever, I'll see if there's any good deals. You happen to see one of these for 90% off. Instant cop. Absolutely, dude. And you can't even blame the guy that bought it. If somebody was selling something worth 300 grand for $3,000, you'd buy it immediately. What, you're gonna turn down almost a $500,000 profit in 2 seconds because, he probably fat fingered it? If you don't, somebody else is going to. Seriously though, this one hurts, dude. I'm assuming if you have $300,000 NFTs that you're already a pretty wealthy guy, but even if you're worth a lot of money, I feel like fat fingering and missing out on $297,000 does not make you feel too good about yourself. Other than that, just to wrap everything up, the index is overall not looking too hot. Dow Jones currently down 0.5%, S&P 500 down about 1.2%, and NASDAQ down about 2%. Not looking too hot overall. The market's not closed yet. Obviously, that's still subject to change a little bit. That's just at this very moment. But yeah, on that note, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought of the video. And, if you got any friends into the stock market that need a place to watch their news, feel free to send this to them. I'd appreciate it. On that note, though, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you really want to help me out, I'll put a link to the intro song down below along with a link to my podcast podcast, The Scuffed Caster. You could always use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout to get a discount on G Fuel and help me out. Other than that, 2 more things I gotta plug. I did go ahead and put some of my story times up on Spotify, so be sure to go check that out if you haven't already, linked down below. And of course, you can always check out the Karen Christmas sweater down there. It would mean a lot, and you'll definitely get on the nice list, so top link in the description. And yeah, on that note, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.